actually needs a little bit of introduction, I think, because it is absolute program music. You know what that means? It just means music that's supposed to tell some type of story. And the music makes a lot more sense if you kind of know what the story is. So perhaps some of you know this already, but for those of you who don't, this is a piece by a composer by the name of Igor Stravinsky, arguably the most influential and, I think, greatest composer of the 20th century. But at the end of the First World War, he found himself in Switzerland without very much money. I think he had 4 children at the time, a wife who had tuberculosis, and was in desperate need of money. The Russian Revolution had kind of frozen his assets and money that he had in the new Soviet Union, which had just formed. And his publisher in Germany, of course, they had just lost the war, so he did not really have very much money coming in fact, very little. So they put together this little theater piece, he and a friend, which called for 7 instruments, 2 strings, 2 woodwinds, 2 brass, and 1 percussion player, and a little theater troupe, which probably could consist of 5, maybe 6 people, some of them interchanging parts, a narrator and certain characters to this little show. And they based their story on a old story of a Russian soldier. His name is Joseph, on his way home from serving in the army. And as he marches towards his hometown, pack in tow, he rests by a stream. I'm going to play a little bit of some of the themes so that as we're playing this, you'll kind of know. This will be the beginning. And you'll hear that theme a couple of times. When you hear that, that's Joseph marching on. He rests by a stream and he rummages through his pack. He takes out a lucky St. Joseph's medallion, takes out a mirror and a photograph of his girlfriend. And finally he digs in there and sees what he's really searching for, which is his violin. The violin, of course, in this story represents his soul, because along comes the devil, carrying with him a butterfly net, and you know the significance there. And he wants to buy this violin from the soldier. He says, no, I can't sell you my violin. I love my violin. I'll sell it to you. And he says, well, I'll offer you a lot for it. I'll give you this book. And he says, well, I don't understand this book. And the book, as he looks through it, has things that are going to happen in the future. So he says, I'll teach you how to use this book. Come to my place, and it'll take just 3 days. And I'll teach you how to use this book. So off they go to the devil's house, and he finally convinced them to sell the violin and teach him the violin while Joseph, the soldier, is learning how to become a financier, because he knows when things are going to happen in the future. Well, when the devil finally gets through with him, these 3 days are gone, Joseph starts heading home. But he notices that no one will talk to him or look at him. In fact, when they see him, they run away. Even his mother, when she sees him at the door, she's afraid and runs away. And Joseph then realizes that it's not been 3 days, but it's been 3 years that he's been with the devil, and he everyone thinks he's a ghost now. So, of course, he's very distraught and kind of doesn't know what to do. He has all this money, but he's very poor. And of course, it's the old story of, money won't buy happiness. I think that was said once by a rich guy to make the poor guy feel real good, But, it's not the money. So give up a little bit. No, it's okay. I'll keep my money, but money doesn't buy happiness. So this is the famous story. He comes back. He heads for this little town. He runs into a soldier friend of his, and he finds out that the king has a daughter who is very ill, and whoever can make her well, or at least get her out of bed, will be given her hand in marriage. Oh, by the way, when he is back in his hometown, he sees his girlfriend, the one from whom he had the picture, and she's already married to someone else that has a baby, so he knows his life is over, he's got nothing. So his friend said, hey, look, why don't you kind of dress up as an army doctor and go over there and see if you can cure this girl, you know, and win the hand of the princess. And you'll have everything. So he goes there, and he's kind of in this waiting room with some other people, and the devil's there. The devil's dressed up as a virtuoso violinist, and he teases Joseph. He's about to go in there and play and really, you know, make this girl, come to life. And in this, there's a narrator all the way through. The narrator tells Joseph, if you can get the devil into a card game and lose all your money, he'll have no power over it. So he kind of tricks the devil, and they're waiting anyway. They have nothing to do, so they play cards, and he loses all his money. And when he does that, he grabs the violin because he's not able to play before this, and they play. Let's play a little of that. This is the, yeah, that's it. Yeah, a little concert. I just skipped it over. Just a little concert, yeah. And so he begins to play. And as he continues to play, of course, he's making the devil more and more angry with this, and finally, when that's over, you'll hear this very seductive dance that he begins to play. As the girl awakens to this music, you hear this. There's a tango and a waltz, and you'll also hear a ragtime. Stravinsky freely used some of the new kind of dance rhythms that were around. The waltz wasn't new, of course, but the ragtime and this tango, and used them throughout the piece. This a little bit from the tango. Very seductive and interesting tango that he plays. Of course, the girl gets up and they dance together while the so he plays all this music and they dance together, and the devil, of course, is out of his mind, crazy, angry. But the devil also realizes that he can't resist this music. He can't resist this dancing of the music. And, there's a terrific animated version of this. And what they do with that devil during this music, when you hear this music, you have to imagine in your mind the devil kind of starting to gyrate, and he can't kind of help himself. He has to dance to this music. It's so hilarious. He's dancing, he dances himself silly until he's totally kind of passed out, and they drag him out. But there's a warning given, and this warning is given to the soldier Joseph, who now has a beautiful bride, and he's the son-in-law of the king, and everything's fine. But he's warned by the devil that if you leave these premises, if you leave the actual area of the castle, and the devil will gain power over you again. And he's told by his narrator during this very solemn. You'll hear. We're not going to play it for you now, but you'll hear. There's a very solemn little hymn, kind of a Russian hymn that's played, and he warns him: you must not seek to add to what you had, what you once had. You have no right to share. You have no right to share what you are with what you were, he tells him. No one can have it all. That is forbidden. You must learn to choose between. One happy thing is every happy thing. Two, as if they had never been. So Joseph is warned that you've got all this happiness. Don't try to be the guy you were before. Don't try to be something else. This is the moral of the story that comes when you hear that solemn Russian hymn at the end. Well, these are in the days of politically incorrect kind of people writing stories. So, of course, just like the Adam and Eve story, the girl is the culprit. And she tells Joseph, I think we could go out and bring you to go see your mother because, you know, she probably misses you and let's go see your mom. Joseph says, well, I don't think so. And she goes, yeah, it'll be okay. So, of course, as they head there, he kind of goes ahead to kind of, you know, see their way through. And as he does, of course, he loses her. When he gets to the town, he sees the devil. And in the last scene, the devil, and he walks away. You'll hear this played by just the drum and the solo violin. The violin, which is going to be beautifully played by Robert. But unfortunately, sometimes during the piece, he's not playing the violin, he's kind of beating it black and blue. Because that's the way it's written. But this will represent, you know, Robert's playing usually represents the soul of the poor soldier who, in the end, can't keep his happiness, can't keep anything, and the drum just kind of goes away as in the final devil's march. So, I hope you enjoy it.